Hi,
Hello, what is your name, please?
D'Angelo Armstead.
Okay,
Can I take my mask off or no?
it's okay with me if the corrections officers are okay with it.
They said it was. So I was
Okay, Mr. Armstead, you have 4 files here. You missed a court date back in 2018 on 2 of them,
yes.
and on the other 2, those are the 2 felonies. On the 2 misdemeanors, you also missed court dates in 2018.
One of them, he just owes money because he was sentenced. The other one.
Okay.
But excuse me, Your Honor, I would like to state if I knew about the court dates, I would have went to them. I didn't get
I don't know what that means because
Mr.
I know you
Armstead,
knew.
I'm going to address this magistrate think in a moment, sir.
I'm sorry, I just
Okay, let me get your contact information updated and call the cases, and then I can listen to what your lawyer has to say about that, okay?
okay.
All right, I've got an address on Central Street in Ypsilanti. That's okay to get mail there?
Yes.
Phone number ends in 5723. Is it okay if the court uses your phone number to have contact with you?
Yes.
And okay to use your email to have contact with you?
Yes. The email would be better, but yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. So we have State of Michigan versus Armstead 18F21997 and 18F21670, 18F21104, and City of Ypsilanti versus Armstead 1820511. Your office was previously appointed on all files. Mr. Lebo, you may proceed when you are ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. I missed my mute button there. As Your Honor knows, these are all failure to appears in various related cases from 2018 when Mr. Armstead was 17 years old. At the time, he had been under the impression that he had closed off these cases when he made a $1,700 payment in 2018, and he informed that he has not been contacted about these court dates and was unaware that he had missed these court dates until he was in a vehicle at work while a passenger and was pulled over when the officer had asked to see his ID, and at that time took him into custody for these warrants. Mr. Armstead is employed full-time with Hillside Removal and has been for 2 months. He's been a lifelong Michigan resident except when he briefly lived in Wisconsin, where he has now moved back to Ypsilanti. We would request a personal recognizance bond and new court case in this matter.
When I don't see any evidence that he made any kind of payment on any of these files. So I don't know what that means when you're saying he made a $1,700 payment, because none of these cases actually are that. They don't have any, he hasn't been convicted on any, well, one of them, I think he pled guilty, but the other ones, I don't believe he's been convicted of anything. So there's nothing for him. There wasn't anything for him to pay. And actually, I don't even think that that's true, because it looks like you were doing some kind of sovereign citizen stuff at the time, where Mr. Armstead, where you were sending in paperwork saying that the enclosed you will find abandoned paperwork, which appears to fraudulently allege that James Cameron, magistrate of the authors who signed paperwork being returned, who by his unwarranted acts fraudulently claimed authority from this executor office to administrate for D'Angelo Jesse Armstead estate. The false claim is hereby adjourned. So you decided on your own that you weren't going to participate in these cases anymore, right?
Yes.
Honestly, this garbage saying that the cases were adjourned, and this office also requires the cease and desist of further harassment. There is no man with a claim against me. You filed all of that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So when you say to me, if I'd known I had to come to court, I would have come. That's not true, is it? Because at the time that you didn't come to court, you were pretending to be a person who was not under the authority of the jurisdiction of the laws of the state of Michigan and Washtenaw County. And that's why you didn't come to court, isn't it?
No, that's not what happened, man. I went, look, my
It
attorney
looks
that was
like it
down.
because you filed all of this garbage with us.
I know I filed it because I had went to court and I went to jail and they had me pay a fine and I paid my fine and they released me from jail and they told me I was good of all my charges and everything because I destroyed property.
Nobody told you that. Nobody told you that because that was never true. Okay. You may have heard something that you misunderstood, but on all of these cases, they were still open. You were in jail briefly. And I don't know whether you posted a bond or whether you just left on a personal bond.
I was released, Your Honor.
Yeah, on a personal bond, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I had to pay. I had to do $250 every Thursday downtown Ann Arbor. I don't remember her name. It was Miss.
Okay. So these are not downtown Ann Arbor cases. None of these are.
Okay, see, that's what I'm seeing. I'm sorry if I'm flabbergasted all over the place.
Right.
I literally did not know about these, Your Honor. Like if I knew, I would have done something about it.
You did know about them. You came to court at least once on every one of these files. You did know.
Your Honor,
I didn't know about a previous court date, Your Honor. I didn't know about a return court date. I never was sent nothing about coming back to court. Once I went to court in Ann Arbor, all my court case was downtown Ann Arbor or here, ma'am. I never went nowhere else. Never. Always done it on the Zoom or downtown Ann Arbor with the same judge. I'm not trying to be frustrated or anything.
These cases are all before we were Zooming anything.
Yes.
So, yeah, I agree. You didn't. So you were in jail and you were arraigned on these felonies and you were given a court date and you didn't appear. And I understand that what you're saying is you didn't know you needed to appear, but the reason that you didn't know you needed to appear is because you weren't paying attention. You had paperwork with you when you left the jail that told you what to do.
Yes, ma'am. And all I got when I left jail was release papers. And they gave me a sheet of paper with prosecutors on it, and that was it, ma'am. No return date of court or nothing. That's why I thought I was done with everything. I'm not.
Well,
Your Honor, may I be heard on this?
I would not.
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Mr. Lebo?
Your Honor, so I believe I was unaware of the sovereign citizen paperwork that Mr. Armstead filed, but I do think it's fair to say this was 4 years ago when he was 17. It is perhaps simply an instance of teenage naivety. I'm sure he no longer believes that he is a sovereign citizen in any way, shape, or form. And I do think this may be some genuine confusion back in 2018. And I'm confident that Mr. Armstead will return to court if he's given.
I promise, Your Honor, I will not miss no court dates ever. I have no reason to miss court. I take care of my mother and my son. I cannot miss nothing important. I'm only asking just for a little leeway. That's all I want. My mother just got diagnosed with dementia.
All right. Okay. Go ahead, Ms. McDuffie.
Your Honor, I was just going to add, you probably can see the same thing that I can, that perhaps the source of his misunderstanding about restitution is he was set to be sentenced and had been sending in some sort of payments on an entirely separate case that is an R&O that I think was reduced to attempted and malicious destruction of police property. So perhaps that is why he's under the impression that he was making payments. That course obviously has nothing to do with these other matters though. And it appears that he was, as you mentioned, he was arraigned in person with Judge Burke and received dates for probable cause conference and preliminary exam in person at that time in 2018. So I just wanted to address where the restitution issue might be coming from.
I don't see that he paid restitution on any of these 4 files that we're talking about. I see
It's not
nothing.
those. That's the issue. It's a completely separate file. That is none of these.
Yeah,
But-
okay. Which is what he's saying, is that he had something in Ann Arbor.
Mhm.
And he
Your
thought
Honor,
that was
Mr.
all that was
Armstead and I would
open.
also like the court to be aware that he is currently taking care of, a 1-year-old son and a mother who is suffering from dementia.
And my aunt,
also
sorry.
dementia, who is unable to walk.
Okay. So I guess what I'm being asked to believe today is that you left the jail sometime in 2018, and after having seen Magistrate Cameron on 3 or 4 files, and believed that all of those files went away when you left the jail.
Yes, ma'am. Because I
Do
paid.
you hear how stupid that sounds?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm not calling you stupid, but do you hear how that sounds like you weren't paying attention, didn't try to find out, ignored whatever paperwork you received from the jail, didn't talk to your court-appointed lawyer, and just like, oh, well, I'm out of jail and I'm making these payments, I guess it's over. You hear that, yes?
I see what you're saying. I just got out and paid and left.
Yes. And so one of the things that I expect from people when they are given a personal bond is that they will take responsibility for getting themselves to court, for knowing what's going on, for understanding who to talk to if they're confused. You can't just decide on your own that a case is over, all right? And I don't know why you filed the sovereign citizen stuff, but you're telling me that you're not doing that stuff anymore, yes?
No, ma'am. That was at the time when I was getting harassed. That's something totally different. But when it comes to me, you saying I was paying and didn't come with them for my accounts that you're talking about, I didn't know that, ma'am.
Yeah.
I thought I was paying for those because that was the only property.
Okay, but the reason that you thought that is because you stopped paying attention, because there's nothing nobody told you that by paying on the one case, all your other cases went away. You may have misunderstood what someone said, but nobody told you that because it's not true.
You're right.
Okay, I will give you a personal bond on all of these files, primarily because you were a child when you messed this up. All right. I will not give you another personal bond if you miss court.
I will not.
Okay.
I will not miss court.
What we're doing now is all of these. I'm going to give you new court dates on these cases.
Can I get copies? Please.
Pardon me?
May I get copies of them court dates?
When you leave the jail today, you'll get paperwork that has the court date.
Okay.
Then you'll get closer to the court date. Something will be sent to your email with the link to use to appear by Zoom. All right. Okay. You can stay in touch with the court and with Mr. Lebo's office to make sure that you know where you're supposed to be. It's your responsibility to show up where you're supposed to be. It's not mine to tell you or Mr. Lebo's to tell you.
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
Don't know, it's your responsibility to call someone and find out. Okay, that makes sense, right?
Yes, they do.
This is your life. Mr. Lebo and me and all of these other people on the call and everybody that works at the courthouse, we have a bunch of cases we're dealing with all the time. You only have your own life. So you need to be the person that makes sure you know what's going on. Doesn't make sense for you to give up that responsibility and ask us to do it for you.
I understand, ma'am.
Because none of us are going to be in jail if you miss court. You are.
Right.
Okay. All right. So it's okay to mail you stuff at the Central Street address.
Yes.
Your email is at Gmail.
Yes, at gmail.com.
Okay. And I already verified your phone number. Okay.
Yeah. Is it possible I can get Laurie's number, please?
You can get what?
His number, please, so I can be able to contact him. My attorney.
Yeah. What's the public defender's office phone number, Mr. Lebo?
I will locate it in a moment. And unfortunately, I don't have my work cell phone immediately available in front of me. However, Mr. Armstead, as soon as we're done with court today, I will text message you the court dates.
Okay, that's even better. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to give you the court dates right now, all right? So you have two felony cases that are still in felony status. What that means is that there has not been a determination about whether you're going to plead to a misdemeanor or they're going to go to the circuit court as felonies, because you never came to your felony court dates. So they're still at the beginning, okay? Do you need me to go over the charges with you again?
Yes.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I'm sorry.
Nope, we'll just do the whole thing.
Thank you.
We're just rebooting this for you and starting over, because you and I are not having this conversation again, right?
Oh, no, ma'am.
Okay. State of Michigan versus Armstead, 18F21997. The complaint states that on or about September 13th, 2018, on Hill Street near Warden in the city of Ypsilanti, you're accused in count 1 of assaulting, resisting, or obstructing a police officer. Officer Brown of the Ypsilanti Police Department.
Yeah,
Count
Jay Brown. I remember that.
Count 2 is assaulting, resisting, or obstructing Officer Tate. Count 3, assaulting, resisting, or obstructing Officer Judge. Count 4 is another charge regarding Officer Brown. Each of those 4 charges is a felony with a maximum penalty of 2 years and or $2,000. The court date for this case will be January 5th, approximately 9 a.m. over Zoom. You have a personal bond. State of Michigan versus Armstead, 18F21670. The complaint in this matter states that on or about July 10th, 2018, at 415 East Michigan Avenue in the city of Ypsilanti, Washtenaw County, Michigan, you're accused in count 1 of malicious destruction of a building, maliciously destroying or injuring a building at 415 East Michigan Avenue. That is a felony with a maximum of 5 years and or $10,000. Count 2 is a charge of assaulting, resisting, or obstructing a police officer, Paul Durkee. Count 3, assaulting, resisting, or obstructing a police officer, Thomas Arnett. Count 4, assaulting, resisting, or obstructing a police officer, Kurt Shipakasi. Count 5, assaulting, resisting, or obstructing a police officer, Brian Bennett. Sorry, the pages are sticking together. Each of those assaulting, resisting, and obstructing charges is 2 years and or $2,000. The malicious destruction of a building is 5 years and or $10,000. Personal bond, court date will be January 5th. Okay, those are the felonies. Any question? Let me give you the rest of the felony conditions. No weapons, no illegal drugs, do not leave the state of Michigan, no criminal behavior. Any questions about those felony files?
No, ma'am.
Are those dates for probable
Okay.
cause conferences?
Probable cause conferences, January 5th. All right. File number 18F21104, State of Michigan versus Armstead. This started as a felony and you pled to a misdemeanor. So it started as a resisting and obstructing charge, and then you ended up pleading guilty to a reduced charge. And that all happened in May of 2018. And you were supposed to appear for your sentencing in August, and you did not appear in August for your sentencing. So you pled guilty, but then you didn't appear for your sentencing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Didn't know. Yes. Wow.
All right. So that case, you are going to have to appear for sentencing, and that will be with our new judge in Ypsilanti on January 18th. That'll be a sentencing by Zoom, January 18th, 11 a.m.
11 a.m. January 18th.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And then the fourth file, City of Ypsilanti versus Armstead, 1820511. This was a charge of giving false information to a police officer. You ended up pleading guilty to, you pled no contest to a charge of interfering with the police. And you needed to pay, that one you just owe money on that, $430. You were just sentenced to fines and costs on that case. And that court date will be also January 18th. All right, so you have two cases, January 5th, and two cases, January 18th. Everything is going to be over Zoom. Two different judges, a public defender will be with you for everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are we clear on what you're going to do?
Yes.
Okay. I know you are having a bad day, but it's okay. You're going to leave. It's all going to get straightened out. You're going to be able to plead to something that is not going to be more than you can handle. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to finish updating your files so that by the time you're ready to leave the jail, all of the paperwork will be with you with your two different court dates. Mr. Lebo is going to text those to you so that you'll have that information right in your phone. And if you get confused, don't decide on your own what's happening. Call someone, okay? Either the public defender's office or the court. So that I want you to drive this bus. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Armstead. You're all set. You can step out whenever you're ready. If you need a minute to get yourself together, you can hang out in that room as long as you need to.
Your Honor, just to double check, the in case 1820511, that's also at 11 a.m.
1820511 is also at 11 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay. Good luck to you, Mr. Armstead. Send your sovereign citizen stuff if you don't want us to take it seriously.